Welcome back to Arise 360. Now, she's used to being in front of the camera, but for her latest project, she's switching gears to co-direct and produce.
That is right. Here with more on her new documentary, The F Word, Fibroid Stories, is PaSean Wilson-Ashley. Hi, PaSean. Welcome to Arise 360.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that title got me at first. I was like, oh, the F word. Oh, we're talking about fibroids. Okay, it's okay.
That's
but
right.
I still think a lot of people don't understand what fibroids are. So what are they exactly?
They're benign, non-cancerous, smooth muscle tumors, which afflict women all over the world, but most commonly women of African descent.
And what prompted you to produce a documentary on fibroids?
Well, I had fibroid tumors, and the first doctor told me we would watch them and wait and see what happened. And the next time I went to a doctor, which was like maybe 3 or 4 years later, they were like, oh, you have fibroids and you need a hysterectomy.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we went from watching and waiting to you want to take everything out. And so I ended up finding out about a myomectomy, which is a procedure where they remove the fibroids, but leave your uterus intact.
Oh, wow.
And when I woke up from that surgery, my husband and sister told me about a woman in the waiting room who had been given a hysterectomy, who was 25 years old.
Oh, no.
And that just broke my heart. I mean, I was an actress. I never even thought about filming anything, but I was like, I'm doing a documentary.
And just for the sake of clarity, for those that do not know or those that don't have a medical background, can you just explain to us exactly what a hysterectomy is so they understand the severity of what
Well, there are a few different types of hysterectomies, but for the purpose of this discussion, it's just a removal of the uterus. But sometimes they'll do like just remove the cervix. Sometimes they'll remove the uterus, the cervix, and the ovaries. So there are different types of hysterectomies. But basically, you're unable to have children after you've had a hysterectomy. A myomectomy is a procedure where they just remove the fibroid tumors, but you can still, conceive if you want to, want that option.
And while doing some research and stuff through this film, how many women would you say have gone through this procedure, a hysterectomy, without even needing it? Or people that don't even know that a myostectomy is called
myomectomy.
Myomectomy.
I know,
I know, but I don't think, I've never even heard of it, and I don't think many women know that that is a possibility or an option for them.
Very true.
Yeah, well, they say about 600,000 women are given hysterectomies a year.
And they do not need it?
It depends on who you talk to. Okay, doctors will say a woman needs it because that's the only 100% way to ensure that a woman will not have fibroids ever again. Because if you do, say, a myomectomy or uterine artery embolization or any of the other procedures, fibroids will come back because just taking them out doesn't get rid of what caused them in the first place. So if you take the uterus out, then you never have to worry about a woman having fibroids again ever in life.
And she loses her ability to have children.
Yeah.
So that's the first, treatment option that is offered to most women, and to me also. It's like, oh, you have, fibroids and they're large, and you need to have a hysterectomy. And a doctor is not required to tell you about a procedure that they do not perform, because what they perform is considered the gold standard.
Of course.
So if they know about other procedures, they don't have to tell you about it because it's not what they do and it's not the gold standard. So, I guess it's a preemptive thing. They figured that eventually a woman will have to have a hysterectomy anyway because the fiber is going to keep coming back. But my point is, give us the option. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A woman might want to preserve her childbearing years, before she ultimately might have to have a hysterectomy. But now there are all types of alternative treatments that are out there now that are, giving hope to women who really want to preserve their uterus and not have any surgery at all. So I've been working on it for 10 years, so much has happened and changed over the past 10 years in terms of treatment options for fibroids, both holistic and Western.
So in terms of the documentary, The F Word, you interviewed a lot of notable women.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the stories that stuck out to you in particular.
Well, Rhonda Ross, her story really stuck out to me because she had fibroids. She had a myomectomy, and then she wanted to conceive a child, and her fibroids had come back. So they wanted her to have another procedure. And she decided she was not having another procedure. And she went on and got pregnant.
Yes.
Has this beautiful son who speaks 3 languages. He's like a little baby genius. Right? But that story, really sticks out to me. Beverly Johnson, who was given a hysterectomy many years ago, and her life was a living hell afterwards. Because you don't know, with any type of surgery, the side effects, you can't predict what's going to happen. Each woman, will respond differently. And so her body just responded very negatively to the hysterectomy, and she had all kinds of complications, scar tissue, just all kinds of issues. So those are two. Sonia Sanchez, who is a poet. I always say, you got Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, and Sonia Sanchez. She's just an amazing activist and poet. And she had fibroids, and she was able to, she said, get rid of her fibroids. Those are the words she used, with a macrobiotic diet.
Interesting.
Wow.
And then addressing stress, because that's one of the things that we don't really discuss. With most diseases, it can be, there's a link somewhere, to stress. And with fibroids in particular, because when women are stressed, they produce hormones, and one of the hormones they produce is estrogen, and one of the things that feeds fibroids is estrogen.
Wow. So a healthy diet, good stressless lifestyle helps. What other things or tips or advice will you hope people will take away from this film?
That's a good question. I know there are 2 doctors in Atlanta who have a protocol that's really amazing. Dr. Amun and Dr. Ansu and Jesse Thompson. Hope Beyond Fibroids is the name of their program, Fibroid Elimination. And so they have a 4-part program. It's a diet. They have supplements, herbal supplements, Qigong, which is a stress reliever. It's like an Asian, I want to say martial arts, but not really martial arts, but it helps the body to reduce stress. And then you also work with a coach. So you're dealing with the mind and the body. But if I could answer that question, I'd be a billionaire. So I'm working on it, though.
You'd make a lot of money from being
working on it. I knew exactly, what it was. But, I think they're really successful. I interviewed one of their patients who got rid of 50 fibroids in 6 months. Whoa. 50 fibroids in 6 months doing that program.
Wow.
And she completely changed her diet. She went from a standard American diet to an estrogen supportive diet. So it's not even just vegan. It's not even just plant-based. It's a diet that stays away even from vegetables or fruits that can be estrogenic.
Okay, let me ask you this.
So it was a very limited diet.
Do you think it's important for women who have not been diagnosed to have fibroids to still stick to these precautions, like a precautionary plan?
Absolutely,
so they don't get them,
especially if it runs in your family.
Okay.
So
genetic.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And that's one of the things we explore in the documentary too. Is like, why do women of African descent, women with melanin, predisposed? And I was talking to Dr. Joy DeGruy, who wrote this book called The Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
What a title!
Post-traumatic slave.
And she really talks about the connection between our experience in slavery and not having any control over our reproductive organs, males or female slaves, and what that did, that trauma. You know what I'm saying? So what that did to the DNA, how that changed the DNA, and then over the years, the stress and trauma that you go through as a person of color.
Oh, so now there are other diseases that African Americans are predisposed to.
Yes.
Things like sickle cell, for example.
Yes.
But how can you mentioned men earlier. How can men get involved with this and support the cause?
Really supporting their women who suffer from fibroids, liking my Facebook page. The F word, Instagram, the F word, and just really becoming involved and asking questions. I do know of a lot of men who come to me with questions because their wives or their girlfriends or their sisters or their mothers or whatever, suffer from fibroids, and they see them suffering. I mean, it's not like a light thing. You just think, oh, she bleeds a lot. Oh, she might have a long period. The pain is excruciating. But I hear stories about people who got pregnant, who get pregnant and then are unable to go full term with the baby because the fibroid and the baby are fighting for room or fighting for blood or fighting for whatever it is, and you lose the baby.
Oh,
and then
I
know.
I think this is an important documentary for men, for women to watch, for a lot of people. So where can people catch it? How can we see it?
Well, right now we're in post-production. We're raising funds for all of the post-production costs. That's, the the editing.
We need to donate. Where
Yeah,
are we going to donate?
We are actually, I'm going to let you know when we do it, but we're going to be starting a crowdfunding campaign. But right now, fibroidfworddocumentary.com is our website that's under construction, but put it in your notes now because when we have it up, you'll be able to get information on how you can donate when we do start our crowdfunding campaign. But it's a very, very important subject, and I'm so glad you guys had me on to talk about it.
We are happy that you actually even came up with this. You know, this documentary is momentous. It's so extraordinary that you chose to speak on it. So, well done.
Thank you so much.
Continued success. We can't wait for it. Come back when it comes out.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you. And we have much more Rise 360 after this break.
You didn't even let me get to the story.